Today I'm going to look at 5 films which gave us inspiration for our film storyline. The first film that inspired us was City of God, directed by Fernando Meirelles and released in 2022. City of God is based on a true story, and it takes place in the 1960s, where in the slums of Rio de Janeiro, 2 boys growing up in a neighbourhood take on different paths in life. The story is told through the eyes of Bursky, a poor young fisherman's son who dreams of becoming a photographer one day. His story narrates the violence and corruption surrounding the city and the rise and fall of one of the city's most notorious bosses, Lerzi. As war wages on the streets, Bankeep's only way out of this violent life is to expose his brutality to the world through his pictures. Along the way, the lives of others are put into perspective as the stories intersect with the events that take place. This storyline inspired us because we really liked the crime-drug aspect of the film, which it revolves around. The fact that one of them rises through the ranks of a gang and becomes a really powerful crime-drug lord. We're going to use the idea of a drug cartel within our film, because it really worked well with the main plot of the City of God. The second film which inspired us was The Last Stand. This is another film which revolves around drugs. This film is about when the leader of the drug cartel bursts out of a courthouse and speeds to the Mexican border, where the only thing in his path is a sheriff and his inexperienced staff. This storyline inspired us because of the way the actual film starts. Gabriel Cortez, who's the drug lord and he's in FBI custody, he's being transported. However, the vehicle he's being transported in is literally lifted off the ground. He escapes and takes an agent captive. We like the aspect that the actual plot depends on Gabriel escaping from FBI custody at the beginning of the film. Meaning, if Gabriel hadn't actually escaped from FBI custody, the film wouldn't exist, and we really like that the film wouldn't be able to start off, wouldn't be able to actually be a film without Gabriel escaping. So we like the way it all revolves around this one major event. The TV series Banshee, which was released on the 11th of January 2013. The story revolves around a man who's just been released from jail after serving a 15-year sentence. He sets out to find his former girlfriend, and he tracks her down to Banshee, a Pennsylvanian small peaceful-looking Amish town. When he gets there, he's witness to the murder of the newly arrived sheriff, Lucas Hood. As he needs a new life, and nobody knew what the sheriff actually looked like, he assumes his identity, but little does he actually realise the danger he puts himself in. Meanwhile, his pre-prison past is catching up on him too. We really like the fact that he takes the new sheriff's identity to start a new life. However, it causes more mayhem than he intended it to. This sort of confuses everyone within the TV series itself about who he is and what happened to the old sheriff. This inspired us to try and provoke confusion from our target audience, because we feel that it would really draw them into our plot, and maybe put in something which the person raising within our drug cartel doesn't really know the dangers he's getting himself into. An American film series caught our eye called The Fast and Furious. It was released in 2001 and since then has been followed by 6 sequels and 2 short films, which both tie into the film series. The first one of the film series is about a Los Angeles street racer, Dominic Toretto, falls under the suspicion of the LAPD, as a string of high-speed electronics truck robberies rocks the area. Brian O'Connor, an officer of the SAPD, joins the ranks of Toronto's highly skilled racing crew, undercover to convict Toretto. However, O'Connor finds himself both enormous with this new world and in love with Toretto's sister, Mia. As a rival racing crew gains strength, O'Connor must decide where his loyalty really lies. This inspired us to base it around gangs, while having elements of loyalty and betrayal, hints based within it, as this would really give aspects of power, chaos, and what's right and what's wrong. This would again also draw our target audience in and give them hints about what actually might happen in the future of our film. The final film which really inspired us was The Godfather, which is probably one of the most well-known mafia films. Don Vito Corleone is the head of the Corleone mafia family in New York. He is at the event of his daughter's wedding. Michael, Vittorio's youngest son, and a decorated World War II Marine, is also present at the wedding. Michael seems to be very uninterested in being part of the family's business. Vittorio is a very powerful man, and is kind to all those who give him respect, but is ruthless against those who do not. But when a powerful and treacherous rival wants to sell drugs and needs Don's influence for the same, Vittorio refuses to do so, what follows is a clash between Vittorio's faith in old values and the new ways, which might cause Michael to do the thing he has most reluctant in doing and wage a mob war against all the other mafia families which could tear the Corleone family apart. This inspired us to put in some dark crime aspects within our film and put some loyalty and family feel to the film, so it comes across as a typical crime thriller which draws in a lot of audience. We decided that our film would be based on a drug cartel which was inspired by the City of God and The Last Stand. It also inspired us to put in a main event which without it the film's plot wouldn't actually exist. As well, loyalty aspects inspired by The Godfather as well as The Fast and Furious. Finally, Banshee inspired us to put in some sort of aspect of one of the main characters not actually knowing or fully realising what he's getting involved in and the dangers that will actually come with it.